Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us today. My name is Anna Spiesens, and I am your host and moderator for today and part of the ECO program training and mentoring task team. For those who don't know the ECO program yet, short for Early Career Ocean Professionals Program. It is a networking program that was endorsed by the UN Ocean Decade in 2021 with the mission to strengthen new generations of ocean professionals, making sure that knowledge is transferred between experienced and early career ocean professionals. And as part of this knowledge sharing, we developed a webinar series, and today we have our 46th episode, an exciting one. Dedicated to the ocean is our future today with Frank Schweikert. I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. Frank is a journalist, a biologist, and a sailor with experience in media. He's also the founder and the director of the German Ocean Foundation and is leading a variety of projects that you will learn more about today. So, Frank, thank you again so much for making time today, and I will pass the word on to you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Anna, for this kind invitation. I'm very happy to make the presentation today about my perspective of the ocean is our future, because I think on a lot of things we really depend on our ocean, and I'm also at the moment serving as a member of the European Union Mission Board for restoring the ocean and waters. And so when I went to this mission board, I'm politically not very engaged, but then I started to think about what will be the optimized kind of policy, what we will need. And I will very happy to talk about this and about all the other projects I do. So thanks very much for the invitation, and I hope you enjoy the webinar. Everything started 34 years ago with a yellow boat called Aldebaran. And so based on the idea of Jacques Cousteau, I bought, as the end of my studies, aluminium boat and restored and transformed it to a research and communication vessel. So inside the boat, there is a studio, radio studio, because I worked for the radio for many years. There is a laboratory inside. There is a dive compressor and dive facilities. And in the last years, we did a lot of expeditions, mainly in the North and Baltic Sea, also in the Mediterranean, also in the Caribbean. So this picture is from Caribou Key. It's in front of Belize. It's a very fancy coral station. And yeah, we did a lot of projects and the one mission is that we want to communicate and research about the ocean. At the moment, Aldebaran is also an ambassador for the United Nations Decade for Ocean Science and Sustainable Development. So this is a picture from a graphic from our ocean book showing that we humans are very, very close connected to the ocean. So we profit from the ocean in many manners, and the ocean is a major contributor um, for, um, for a lot of things. And we also threaten the ocean, as you know. And in this picture, you can see everything. And when I was appointed to the mission board, I was thinking where we are coming from and where we need to go to have a healthy ocean, for a healthy planet and for a healthy and sustainable future for all of us. So, as a biologist by education, we see that there are four major cycles, natural cycles, running on this planet since thousands, millions of years. And everything worked within these cycles with the energy from the sun and without any waste and plastic and whatever. So if we want to achieve a good policy, then we should go back to the cycles. So everything alongside the cycles, which is without trash, with working with the energy from the sun, is fine, and everything not along the cycles should be cancelled. There is a guy from Germany, from Munich. His name is Frederick Fester. He was working on a lot of uh, biological and conceptual things. So he said that that nature is the most successful enterprise of all time, like in this kind of cycles. So the nature is a closed loop system with no waste, and every ending product is also a starting product. So the system is very complex, and there are very simple roof, and it's a self-assembly system, more or less. And here, maybe if you are a biologist, you can see the citric acid cycle, which is one of the many, many cycles in the organelles and also in the cells and also in the organisms. So everything is organized in cycles. And what we need in terms of the ocean is we need to understand the holistic circumstances and the holistic working of our nature. And last but not least, also our security issues, because all these cycles are important for our for our future on this planet. So I made 3 parts, and within the 3 parts, we maybe can have a small discussion at the end of each part. The first part I dedicated to my work in policy. So I already told that, not I did not. We are in a historical position to make Europe the global leader of the ocean, because 24.5 million square kilometers are so-called exclusive economic zone in Europe. And despite whatever is going on in this world at the moment, we can make our rules there. And so, following this, I wrote a so-called urgency paper, because we have a lot of urgency priorities around the ocean and connected to the ocean. And at the moment, we have a historical unique position to make Europe, for example, the global leader of the ocean. So first of all, it's the geopolitical security power. Secondly, it's the economic security and vision, because the ocean is the biggest ecosystem on the globe, and still not really well developed. And I think now we have a big chance to develop the ocean in a more sustainable way. So digital security and data sovereignty. Maybe you know that 99% of all the data what you have on your internet, on your phone, are going through the ocean, not through satellites. And data sovereignty means that we have a lot of data about the ocean, and we need to identify solutions out of this data, how to secure the ocean and how to secure also our life on the planet. Then energy security and autonomy means that the ocean can provide us with a lot of more energy than only from wind. Then we have the infrastructure security item, which means that all the shipping, the most of the goods connecting all the cities, the countries, and the continents are going through the ocean. And a very important point is food security. Maybe you know that a lot of the soil for agriculture, for example, in European Union, 70% is already in a very, very bad condition. So we will depend on the ocean as a food security place, and need to harvest and grow algae. And last but not least, climate stability is also depending from the ocean. So here again, the overview. So 24.5 million square kilometer is the exclusive economic zone in Europe. And these are the points again. So economic security we can have from this exclusive economic zone. We have the data security, all this 10 million kilometers of data going through the ocean. We have the energy security by the ocean. We have the infrastructure security, you know, by the big shipping routes, all based on former wind-driven propulsion, and then the food security, and last but not least, the climate stability depends on the ocean. So it's a matter of security, and all these four cycles are the major, let's say, um, goals and rules. And if you want to survive on this planet, we have to follow the rules, and we have to follow and close all these cycles in a sustainable way. Yeah, I told you that I'm in the mission board of the European Commission for Healthy Oceans, Seas, Coastal and Inland Waters. This is the second one here on the chart. And when I compare these four major cycles of the Earth, of the globe, we can see that four of the cycles are directly related to other missions of Europe. So the material cycles is related to everything what happens in climate neutral and smart cities. The water cycle, you know already. Then the soil health and food is related with the nutrient cycle, and the carbon cycle is directly related to the climate adaptation and societal transformation mission. And in addition to my mandate for the ocean mission, I am now also responsible for the dialogue between all the other missions, because if we don't solve the material cycle, the nutrient cycle for agriculture, and climate change means the carbon cycle, we cannot save the ocean. So restoration, the ocean is only possible when we take care of all the other things. And in this mission board, and with another group called the Ocean Pact leading group, which are 30 experts, we convinced Ursula von der Leyen to announce in the big ocean conference in Nice last year in June, the Ocean Pact, which is now the Ocean Act, which will become the Ocean Act. Sorry, I go back to this slide. And Ursula von der Leyen will put 1 billion euro in ocean science and ocean development things in the next years. And we are very happy that on the top level of the European Commission, this item, this goal, this vision is shared with us. Yeah, then I have some priorities how to achieve these things, because we need to put the ocean in the middle of our priorities. But first of all, we have to raise public and political awareness, because if we don't understand the ocean, we cannot love the ocean. And if we don't love the ocean, we cannot protect, or we will not protect the ocean. Secondly, we will have to put money inside the system. So there will be the launch of a European Blue Fund, and some of the countries like Germany, we already have a so-called Blue Action Fund. So putting money in the next multi-annual financial framework. MFF is one of my personal topics. So next week I will be back in Brussels and negotiate with some parliamentary members of the parliament that we have secure a lot of money to put the ocean, to be able to put the ocean in the middle. And then we need to activate transboundary investment mechanisms. So like last year, when we had the Blue Financial Forum in Monaco, the same time when the big ocean conference UNEC took place in Nice. And Christine Lagarde, here with Ursula von der Leyen, told in her speech, yes, the time has come that we understand that we cannot eat the money we raise in all the world. So they, on the top of the financial business, understood how important it is to put money into the ocean. And then we need to highlight the scale of Europe's economic zones. And because here we can do our rules, we can use them for trade, for diplomacy, and we have to support all the existing things like the MSFD or the biodiversity framework or the BBNJ 30 by 30. So a lot of things are going on, and I think it's now the time to strengthen this strategic policy things. And we need to transform science into action. This is very important to me. And I will work in the next days on a program to squeeze out from all the scientific results of the last 20, 30, 40 years, um, let's say, tasks for society and industry, how we sustainably can work and live with the ocean. I think that should be a very, very high priority, not only reinvent the wheel and do science and science and science. I think science needs to be so clear and understandable that we could profit, that society and also industry could profit from it by sustainably using our ocean. One example is that, and I wrote a paper together with Hans-Josef Fell. Hans-Josef Fell is a parliamentary former member of the German parliament who started the renewable energy law. And he and a professor from Bremerhaven, um, we wrote a paper about that the mass growth of algae, of big algae, could really save climate change. So, for example, we can take out 300 to 400 gigaton of CO2 from the ocean by growing algae. At the same time, we can take out nutrients from the ocean. We can take out CO2 and produce food. We can produce building materials. We can produce fertilizers. We can produce oxygen, biocoal, maybe fuel, and bioplastics. So algae are the shooting star of the ocean, and we should put more focus on that. And then, last but not least, we need to collaborate and communicate. Nothing will work if we don't put science, society, industry, and let's say also the financial part together, and to find good solutions based on good scientific outcome. Okay, that's so far my first part for the policy thing, and I'm happy about a small discussion now. And then I have a second part, which is dealing with the German Ocean Foundation. But maybe first let's talk about the meta level of policy, of my policy work.
Yes, thank you so much, Frank. This was super interesting. I think it gave a good overview of what you're involved in and what is interesting to know, but also remind us why the ocean is so important. And to everyone in this webinar, please don't hesitate to put any questions you have in the Q&A chat box or just in the webinar chat. And for those who would like to speak and just ask their question directly, you can raise your hand and then I can activate your microphone, so that's possible too. So we can wait a bit for people to think if they have any question, but I actually already wrote something down. I heard you saying that the EU was investing 1 billion euro for ocean science, and for an early career like me, it's really hard to assess if that is a lot or if that is actually little if you spread it out over time in organizations and work. And I would find it so interesting to hear your opinion about this. Yeah.
You mean about the dimension of the 1 billion. So 1 billion is not a lot of money, but it's a visible sign. So when we talk with the cabinet of Ursula von der Leyen, from the first minute she understood that the ocean um, needs to set on the priority on a European level, and now we try to convince all the other commissioners. So it's not only the commissioner for ocean and fisheries, so we need also the commissioner for transport, for environment, for research and development. But to be honest, I'm not a financial person, so I think 1 billion is a lot of money, but it will be not enough money. But it's a kind of seed money, and we need some more investors from the private and from the business side to run this business. But what is very important is to squeeze out the results, the outcome from research into business. I know there is already a competition. So in 3 weeks, I will go to China by invitation. And a lot of countries try to work, especially on the algae projects. And we need to hurry up because climate change is really coming very, very quickly. And I think um, carbon disposal under the sea surface is, for me, sounds not like a good idea, but growing algae in a big scale sounds like a biological and very low-hanging fruit to do. And I think, yeah, so far.
Amazing, thank you. And I'm just seeing that we have a question in the chat from, I'll try to pronounce it correctly, but please correct me if I'm wrong. Abdullahi Abdullah Kadir from Somali. And the question is how to reduce plastic instead to maintain the health and cooperation.
Yeah, how to reduce plastic. So um, it's a good question. And first of all, I personally think that plastic is not the main thing, the main issue we should focus on, maybe the second one. But I'm really concerned about that plastic is still used to pack food, because you know that in plastic there are some chemical substances causing cancer. And I don't know why, for example, a country like Germany or other European countries allow that food is still packed in plastic. I would forbid it. And I think we should have the power and the intelligence to do it right now. I know that then food, and especially food which is transported and stored long time, will get more expensive. But maybe we need to come back to close the food loops and the food cycle in a more sustainable and local way. So instead of buying the food in packed plastic, we should try to buy the food directly from the farmer, and start to um, start businesses which are which not depend on cheap plastic, because like today the cheap plastic business is not close to the solution. And I'm very sad as a European or as a German inhabitant that we invented all this plastic packaging machines. And there are a lot of countries with indigenous knowledge, and I think we should really look at this indigenous knowledge, how we can reduce or stop plastic completely by replacing it with natural materials.
Yeah, it's like you said before the webinar that ocean sustainability it actually starts on land with our behaviors and our
Yeah.
production methods. I don't see any questions coming in the chat, but maybe we can start with the next part and then we will do another, I assume we will do another Q&A. Oh, there is actually another question.
Mhm.
Um, Hi Frank, I am Daniel Roleri from the Ambiente Europeo Association Spain. I do not have a question but a comment. We should highlight the relationship between plastics and climate change.
Yeah, that's right. And there is a relationship between plastics and climate change. And for example, in Europe, we do a lot of approach to stop this plastic, this mass of plastic by putting a tax on. But politically, for example, in Germany, it doesn't work. So normally they had the idea um, to um, to ask the polluters for paying the tax if they produce plastic. And so in Germany, when this law or when this initiative came to Germany, the German parliament decided that the taxpayer has to pay for the plastic and not the polluters. So there are a lot of things going wrong on the political way, and I think the plastic issue we have to solve on the political way and not by collecting plastic from the beach on the civil society level because we cannot do it. It's too much.
Mhm. So I see we have another question. Maybe we can take the last one before moving to the next
Yeah.
one. It's from Mohamed Mseed. Hello, thank you for this insightful webinar. My question is, how does climate change impact ocean biodiversity?
Climate change is the biggest enemy of the ocean at the moment. And for example, 93% of the heat is going to the ocean and not to the atmosphere. So 7% of the heat is going to the atmosphere, 93% is going to the ocean, related to a IPCC report from 5 years ago. And there is no wonder that we have really massive heat waves in the ocean. And I compare it always with the temperature of our body. So if we have a body temperature of 37 degrees and the temperature will rise maybe 7 or 8 degrees, then we will sure die. And a lot of organisms will die. And we did some expeditions also to the Central American Barrier Reef with our research vessel Aldebaran. And we clearly can see that a lot of corals will suffer from climate change. And because, for example, corals are very fragile, and everyone knows that the that the temperature um, that the temperature rise of more than 1.5 degrees will destroy them. And quickly after they die, there are coming other algae, and they settle on the on the on the old corals. And when the algae settle on the coral heads, then re um, yeah re activating the coral's life there will not possible. So climate change is really, really bad. And then there is the acidification. Then there's the sea level rise, like cities like Hamburg, where I live and I'm broadcasting now from. We will get immense problems. And the former Minister of Environment told me 4 years ago, okay, Frank, then maybe parts of Hamburg will have to disappear from the map. And I didn't read it in the newspaper. So we know everything, but we do not enough because energy transition will be the solution. And how you can see here, for example, in Hamburg and in other European places, we have the opportunity, but we don't do enough to save the renewable energies, save climate change or stop climate change, and work for a healthy ocean.
Yeah, I think these are interesting debates, and I'm sure that in the next part where you talk about the projects, these topics will probably come back. Um, I
Yeah,
think,
yeah.
yeah, Yeah, I just wanted to say, I see we have one more question from Marina Diaz. Do you think we should leave it for the end of the webinar? Or
No,
maybe...
we can answer it maybe now.
Okay. So Marina is saying, hello everyone, thank you for this interesting initiative. I am Marina Diaz, Spanish, working in France as EU project officer with a master in biodiversity conservation, passionate about the ocean and interested in directing my career towards ocean conservation. In your view, what are the most critical competences and skills that the next generation of ocean professionals should develop? And which ocean-related issues or areas of expertise do you believe are the most urgent and important to specialize in over the coming years? Thank you.
Thank you, Maria. That's a really, really difficult question. So we will need the dialogue between the different silos. So we need people who have experience in natural sciences like physics, like chemistry, like biology or ocean sciences. We will need people from the legal part. So, for example, NGOs like Ocean Vision Legal, they really do a good job by reminding the politicians to, to do what is written in the law. And then we also need engineers. So we don't need engineers to make more profit from the ocean. We need engineers who understand sustainability and who are able to develop the ocean in a sustainable way. So finally, please do and study what's your personal passion, and then try to make an interdisciplinary approach, an interdisciplinary dialogue with other areas. And so the dialogue and the interdisciplinarity approach will be the solution for our ocean. So one silo is not enough and will not solve anything. We need the dialogue, and this is what we um, also do with our foundation. Yeah, then maybe I continue telling a bit about what the ocean provides. Let me see. With the project. So I already mentioned that we have this Aldebaran, the research and communication vessel. And because there is a radio and communication studio on the boat, we can reach really, really a lot of people. And all this presentation now is more or less related to the Ocean Decade. So we are a very active partner for the United Nations Ocean Decade because all our projects are closely related to the goals of the decade. Then we have an exhibition in Miniature Wonderland. It's an exhibition in Hamburg with small figures and a large impact because it's the second large exhibition in Germany, and we really reach a lot of people. So, for example, Aldebaran, the ambassador for the decade, is there, and we installed also all the other 7 goals of the Ocean Decade. Then, at the moment, we are running the biggest citizen science project for the ocean by collecting more than 10 million data points by scuba divers. You know, all the scuba divers, they have a dive computer. And in collaboration with Scuba Schools International, we upload the data with temperature and position, and then we transfer the data to EMODNet. It's the European Marine Observation and Data Network, and all scientists from all over the world can have access. And it's really impactful because divers sometimes are working in areas where scientists are not working, and we need this data. So at the moment, we are also working on a SDG 14 handbook together with Springer Nature. And if there is anyone from you interested in collaborate and contribute to this SDG 14 handbook, so means life underwater, is welcome. Maybe we can share the address later, and then I'm happy to hear from you. Then we have another project also with Springer Nature. So you know that all the information from the scientific community is going to big libraries. And in these libraries, this knowledge doesn't work. So from next year on, we will ask the scientists to provide the same time when they launch the paper, a small video explaining to their grandma what's inside the paper. So explain to someone who is not able to understand the scientific paper. And then we use AI to make the transfer from the combination of the video and the scientific paper to the public. So it is really urgently that we profit from our knowledge, from our ocean knowledge, and that we build bridges between knowledge and society, industry, and last but not least, policy. Then we have a remarkable activity. It's the biggest sustainability initiative in water sports in the world. On the boat fair in Düsseldorf, we have 1,000 square meters and nearly 100 exhibitors. And these are organizations, partners from science, from industry, and from society. So whenever you have an idea or an NGO or something to showcase, or you want to make a presentation on stage, or you have a workshop for children, you're also welcome to contribute to this initiative. And I think we have more than 200,000 visitors. It's always end of January in Düsseldorf in Germany. Then the same time, we launch our Ocean Tribute Award. These are 20,000 euros for an extraordinary ocean protection effort. Yeah, you can see on the Love Your Ocean website how to participate. Then since more than 20 years, we do a small project on the boat with children. They can imagine what they want to research on the ocean. It's not primarily related to science, so it's really a free call for good ideas what they want to do. And it's really impressive that, for example, 15 years ago, the first crew asked us to investigate for plastics in the ocean when the established science community did not really have this on their agenda. So this is a really interesting project, and we are always looking for volunteers who want to join and support this initiative on the small research and broadcast vessel Aldebaran. Then we do a lot in terms of education. Maybe some of you knew the European Ocean Film Tour. And this International Ocean Film Tour has an education program called Ocean Lovers Education. So all the teachers who see the amazing films in the cinema, they can go home and download the films and education material to present them to their children in the classroom. So this is one of our really major goals, to bring the ocean to the classroom. We do an ocean conference series. We have a small project called Ocean Heroes on the website to ask also young ocean leaders why they are engaged for the ocean. Here, like Asha DeVos, she's from Sri Lanka. And we do a German Ocean Festival at the moment in the planetarium in Berlin. 4 times a year. So it's a discussion. At the moment, it's a discussion between society, economy, and politics. But in future, we also want to implement more art, because art is a really important link between science and society. And we have the only visible German exhibition for the Ocean Decade. It's a big vessel, a big museum vessel in the port of Hamburg, and there we have an interactive ocean science media exhibition. And since the beginning, we have more than 300,000 visitors. So it's very, very attractive. And whenever you come to Hamburg, feel invited to go there. Then we do some sea experience days in the harbor in the Baltic Sea. Um, we produce some images from areas where no diver already have been in the North Sea, because to visualize the ocean is one of the most important goals. We are collaborating with Sylvie Earle, and we want to help her with her Hope Spot idea by using Aldebaran, the research and communication vessel, to go there and make communication. We try to help with the communication for restoring seagrass in the Baltic Sea. And we have also, um, let's say, yeah, it's a test for people. It's a certificate for educators in the maritime professional area, like skippers, like shipyards, and from the nautical industry. So you can look at the website Environaut and make this certificate. And one of my favorite things is to go to the seafloor and play music and transmit it to the public from the ocean. So it's an ocean symphony together with the Orchestra of Change. It's a group of musicians in Germany engaged for climate change. Yeah, so this is a bit insights about our projects from the German Ocean Foundation, and I'm happy to hear your questions if you have.
So many interesting projects, especially the last one with the orchestra looked amazing. So I was looking at the chat for questions, and I see one from Abdulali Abdul Kadir Mohammed. What is your best advice about plastic growing countries in Africa still using plastic?
Yeah, that's a very good question. And I'm very sorry that we export so much trash also to Africa. I think it should be solved on the political way. So if you would be able to convince your government to stop single-use plastic in general, this would be a really big, big goal. And that's what I also want to achieve, for example, in Europe. But the lobby of the plastics industry is very strong, and it's a very hard fight. But I think everyone could understand that packing food in plastic is not a good idea. It's not a good idea for your health, and it's not a good idea for the environment, and it's not a good idea for your ocean.
Yeah. And then I see a question from Abdi Mine. Abdi Mine Abdullahi Mohammed has four questions. Should I take them one at a time or?
Yeah.
So the first one is, how does climate change affect ocean temperatures and sea levels?
Yeah, a lot. So 93%, I don't know the capacity in numbers, but it's a huge, huge capacity. So imagine what we burn on this planet on fossil fuels. So 93% is going to the ocean. Um, it's it's massive, and I know from divers that on some areas, the temperature is changing around 10 degrees. And we already can see that the sea level rise is accelerating more than the IPCC already predicted. So the cities like Jakarta are already need already to move to another place, because Jakarta, for example, is now under the sea level, and there is no technology, no money we can take in our hand to save it. So the most important thing is to stop the climate change and use renewable energies. Yeah, then secondly, I can read the question, why is ocean education important for students and youth? As I told you, an ocean, for me, the ocean is so fascinating. When I when I take classes and go underwater and see all the life underwater, the silence and the sound underwater, I love the ocean because of this. And only if you understand and see the ocean, you are able to love the ocean only. And if you love the ocean, then you will for sure save the ocean. Yeah, and the third one, how can students benefit from the marine research training? Yeah, you can just sign up and go through all the questions and make the certificate. So in Vironaut, maybe we can share it after the webinar and just do it. What skills can people gain from ocean-related training? Yeah, there is a lot of knowledge. So we specialized this seminar to for the marine industry because there are a lot of things unknown in the marine industry, and we want to bridge the gap, the knowledge gap between what we know in the science community and what we will need, for example, in the ocean industry, in the tourism industry. That's what you can benefit from. Okay, I think these were some of the answers. Hope you're satisfied, and I think we should go to the next chapter to
Oh, there's even more questions
okay.
coming in. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe we take one more.
Yeah. From Abdirisak Omar. My question is, how does marine pollution threaten sustainable ocean development?
This is a really complex question. So marine pollution, there are many forms of marine pollution. And so, or maybe I give another answer to the same question. If there is a lot of pollution, so if we threaten the ocean with a lot of things from us, the ocean will be able to accept. The ocean will change. Life in the ocean will change. And biodiversity will change or will reduce. And finally, this changing ocean will not be able anymore to contribute our human life on Earth. So any kind of we need to avoid any kind of pollution of the ocean to um, for our surviving on the planet. So the ocean is crucial for our surviving on the planet. And whatever we do to the ocean, we do to us. Yeah. Should we go to the next chapter now?
Yeah, it's up to you. I see another question in the chat. People are so curious. Would you like to take it now or later?
Yeah, maybe we can take it at the end. I don't want to exceed the 1 hour because for some people it's not so easy to stay here online. Let me continue a bit and then maybe we can discuss after. Yeah, so a bit about passion. I have some facts about the ocean which might be interesting. So more than 50%, maybe 60, 70, we don't know, of the oxygen on our planet comes from the ocean. So that doesn't mean that all the oxygen we breathe is coming from the ocean, because a lot of animals in the ocean also profit from the oxygen. But because the ocean has the biggest surface of this planet, it's the biggest producer with algae of oxygen. And it's a melting pot of biodiversity. So we expect, or scientists expect, that we have 1 to 2 million species in the ocean. But we only know 10% of them. So there is a lot of capacity we have to invest to understand more of the biodiversity of the ocean. And the ocean is also an underwater medicine cabinet. Maybe you heard about that during Corona time, there was a substance isolated from algae who could defend Corona. But this scientists from South Germany and Austria, they didn't win the game. So other companies made it with the vaccine. But I want to let you know that there are a lot of substances, especially in the coral reef, we can use as against cancer or anti-inflammatory or anti-ineffective drugs. So there are a lot of things we can take from there and still not discovered. So oceans are used at the main transit road. I discussed this already before, and we have a lot of data still going through the ocean. It's the biggest nature capital we have on this planet, and it's a really, really important climate regulator. And at the moment, many scientists don't know how it works with the ocean currents. So it seems that with the temperature change, a lot of the currents change as well. So the oceans are a really big source of income from tourism. And yeah, then I'm very happy now coming back to the German Ocean Foundation that we are an Ocean Decade implementing partner. Means with all the projects I mentioned before, you can see that we do a lot of things in line with the 7 goals of the Ocean Decade. And this is a woman. Maybe you maybe know, I mentioned her before with the Hopes Boat project. She said, Sylvie Earle, her deepness, she's very, very old, but she's so outstanding person, and she still dives. And there is a group of people who promised to dive with her when she turned 100. I think now she's 90 years old, and she's an absolutely amazing storyteller. And she invented this HopeSpot project. Another woman which I met, which died unfortunately 2002, was Elisabeth Mann-Borghese. It's the youngest daughter of the famous German poet Thomas Mann. And she told me that the ocean will force us to collaborate, and it's a huge laboratory for humankind. And when we see the political situation in southern southeast east countries with the war, we can see that today is the day where the ocean will force us to collaborate because the ocean has no borders. And this woman also creates the UNCLOS, so the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea. And there is the International Tribune of the Sea in Hamburg, and she also created the International Ocean Institute. So this is a mastermind, and Elisabeth was also the first woman in the so-called Club of Rome. And then I want to come to another project we support from the German Ocean Foundation. It's a conference for young people called EUMARES. So this is the conference last year taking place in Kiel. And we, as with my head of the German Society for Marine Research, we are looking for young people who want to organize the next EUMARES conference. Maybe this year in a digital format and maybe next year just in person. So if any one of you is interested to be part of an organizing team for EUMARES, please feel welcome and drop me a line. So then let me see. Yeah, this is the 15th edition who took place last year with 80 participants from 14 countries. It's really an amazing activity, and all the abstracts will be published in a paper. So if you contribute to the conference, you will also have a published paper. That's it. So thanks a lot for listening. Now we have another 5 minutes for the last questions.
Amazing. Thank you so much. So there is a question from Abdullahi Abdul Kadir. How to get young people or interested people or mariners get training, workshops, certificates, and so on?
Mm, I'm really not the expert with this, but maybe you can look on the website for the International Ocean Institute. And I know that all the big institutions provide courses. So just check the websites of the institutes like IFREMER, like GEOMA, and there are a lot of opportunities. And I know there is also a lot of funding because, as already mentioned, for example, Europe gives a lot of money to this ocean education things. And I also know, and I also push for it, that there are budgets for the Global South to be able to participate in seminars in existing institutes, or for example, in North Europe or North America. But I don't have concrete suggestions right now. Next.
Then I saw, oh, there's another one from Abdullahi, who can join Umares and how, because I am from Somalia.
Yeah, maybe we create a group of interested people. So for sure, it would be helpful to have some people who can help in person. And at the moment, it seems to be difficult to fundraise funds for paying travel and accommodation to come to any conference. But maybe the next conference this year will be in a digital format. So you can contribute from everywhere. And we also, I think it's possible to support from everywhere in the world with ideas, with communication, and with project management. So it would be good to collect some names, and then maybe you can organize a next meeting specialized for you, Maris, and then we can just discuss in detail. And I would like to invite for this meeting the former organizers, and they can answer every question for you.
Is there maybe an email address that they can find on the website of the
Yeah.
German Ocean Foundation? Okay.
No, it's you have to look on Umaris, um, umaris.org. Maybe we can put it in the protocol, and yeah, and there you
Okay.
can find all the activities. You can find the conference report and everything. I think bringing people together is very important, and I'm very proud of this conference, which will take probably um, the 16th time this year.
I've put the link to the
Yeah,
Humanity website
yeah,
in the
yeah,
chat
that's
so
good.
everyone can find it. I think we have no more questions coming in. So again, I'd like to thank everyone for joining, of course, and asking all these interesting questions, engaging in discussions with Frank. And of course, thank you, Frank, as well, for taking the time to share your knowledge about why we should care about the ocean, what's happening in the policy space, and all of these interesting projects. Um, and I actually see one more message coming in. We would be honored to invite you and your co-presenter to deliver an online lecture on the Somali Maritime Students Union platform similar to this session. We are a marine science student organization, and we believe your lecture would be highly valuable for our members. We would appreciate hearing your thoughts on this invitation.
Thank you very much. I for sure will do it.
Amazing. I think people can find you on LinkedIn maybe if
Yeah.
they wanna. Okay,
Yeah.
perfect. Okay, then I'd like to thank you again so much. Do you have any last words for the audience?
Yeah, I'm very happy that so many people participate in this webinar today, and you are the future. So I think your passion is very, very relevant for the ocean. Try to work hard, try to work with passion, try to include and convince your politicians in your area. And whenever you need support with any strategic things, um, you're welcome to reach out. And I try to, because I have a huge, huge network, I try to connect you with someone who might help you.
Okay.
So carry on your track and let's pray and wish all the best for a healthy ocean, for a healthy planet, and lucky, healthy people.
I can only echo these words. And this webinar has also been recorded. I've put a message in the chat where you can find our YouTube channel, where it will be posted in the coming days. And please follow us on LinkedIn to stay up to date of future webinars. Thank you again, everyone, and have a lovely day, evening, morning, wherever you are. And thank
Thank
you
you,
again.
Anna, for the nice moderation as well and organization.
Okay, bye, everyone.
Bye bye.